Hi friends, welcome back to Lord Have Mercy, the place where we tell honest stories of God's faithfulness in the middle of real life. I'm Whitney and I'm so grateful you're here. Today's conversation is super special because I'm sitting down with one of my dearest friends, Danielle Copeland. Danielle is one of those people who becomes an instant best friend. She's successful, deeply involved in her community, an incredible wife and mom, and a top producing realtor. Someone who just looks like they have it all together. But there is more to Danielle's story. For more than 3 decades, Danielle has quietly battled severe anxiety, panic disorder, and OCD. While many people experience moments of anxiety, Danielle lives with an anxiety disorder that has shaped so much of her life. Yet through every panic attack, season of fear, and asking God to take it away, He has remained faithful. In this episode, we talk about friendship, motherhood, trauma, therapy, medication, faith, and what it looks like to trust Jesus when He doesn't immediately heal what we're asking Him to. If you've ever wondered where God is in the middle of anxiety, if you've ever felt ashamed of your mental health, if you've ever believed the lie that you're too broken to be used by God, this episode is a reminder that our deepest struggles do not disqualify us from God's purpose. They often become the very places where His mercy shines brightest. Because sometimes the greatest miracle isn't that God removes the struggle, it's that He faithfully walks with us through it. Wherever you're listening from today, we're so glad you are here. I'm so glad to be here. In your mom's beautiful home, by the way.
I mean, right?
Thank you.
Because we couldn't have done this at my house.
No, I know. Or anyone's
There's
house with kids or
camp
people.
stuff and 3 kids everywhere. And
So I'm back in my hometown in Madison, Georgia, which is such a special place. I grew up here my whole life.
I love that.
Yes. Just moved away 4 years ago to Savannah.
And we miss you so very much.
I miss you all so much. But every time I come back, I'm like, I'm so glad I get to come back here. This is such a sweet, I love being in Savannah. I feel like I get the best of both worlds. I get to come back here to all these people who mean so much to me in this place that means so much to me.
But I also think that's a testament of who you are. Because not everybody does that.
No.
Not everybody, pours in and comes back and remembers. And that's something you're really good at.
Thank you. I love you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I'm back here in your mom's beautiful home because she's I'm talking to you, Kim Jensen, who's my first boss.
Yes, who we all love.
Yes, owns Amelia's where we all shop.
We all shop.
Yes.
I have to keep myself from not going in there.
Yes.
People will be like, why haven't you stopped in? I'm like, I can't, girls.
I can't because I will buy something.
Because they're really good at their job.
Yes, they are. They are.
Yes.
And then Jill, who we're talking to, that's your lifelong friend.
Yes, we grew up together.
Yes. And then has made such an impact in my life. Also works at Amelia's with Kim. It's just the funniest
thing. And then
thing.
This was Jill's house.
This was Jill's home.
and we'll even let I found this house for her before I was a real estate agent.
Oh my goodness.
Because we live behind this house.
Yes. And how many years ago was that?
So it was the year Abe was born and he just turned 11.
Oh my goodness.
We bought our house in October.
Yes.
And then you'd have to ask Jill. We bought our house in October, and a lady at the school who this was her childhood home, Mary Devane.
Yes.
Saw me at the primary school, and she said, "Hey, I heard that you guys were looking for a house. My parents' house is coming up for sale." And I said, "We just found one.
Yes.
But hold on, my friend Jill's looking."
Yes.
So precursor of that, I was destined to be a real estate agent. And so I called Jill. They bought this house. And then 2 years ago, Jill and Lim called me and said, "Hey, we want to try to sell the house by ourselves, but we don't even know what to do and how to price it and what we're doing." I was like, "Hold on a minute, I'll call you right back."
Yes.
And I called my parents and I said, "I found the house."
Oh my goodness.
And my kids, we have a cut through our backyards. And I mean, it makes me cry. I'm in church with my family every Sunday. It's like the neatest.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even know that story. That's amazing.
That is a really great story, but it is the sweetest moment.
It's the best. So
my mom came kicking and screaming a bit.
But
she's here and she loves it.
And this home is beautiful, and I'm so grateful that she just let me set up the little podcast here, and then y'all just come in and out. Kim just left. I don't know if her podcast recorded. We might be re-recording, but it's okay. That's okay. That's right. That's because I'm a newbie at this. I don't know what I'm doing, but God has called me, and I'm saying yes, and I'm sitting here with the people whose stories mean so much to me.
You've always done that. For as long as I've known you, you've always said yes when God's called you, even if it was scary or even if it was something that you didn't understand or were like, I don't know how all the pieces are coming together.
Yes.
So I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about how we met, which I couldn't even remember, and we just talked about before this started. I didn't remember either. And then we remembered together.
But I turned 50 this year, so my brain's kind of going.
No, well, I told Mercy, I was like, when I had her, I was like, you took all of my brain cells, and now you're smarter than me. I have none left.
Yes.
So it's okay. And I'm 38, so I'm scared to know.
Which I cannot even believe that.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm going to be 40 like next year. Like this year I turned 39. It's crazy town. Which you don't like. I don't feel like that's even possible. Do you feel like you could possibly be 50?
No. In my mind, I feel like I am 35.
Yes.
And I asked, I don't know if you remember Elsie Monk.
Yes.
Dave here. She had her 70th birthday. We were at a football game like 2 years ago, and it was her 70th birthday, her 70th or 75th. Yeah. And I was sitting beside her, and she's a shoot it straight kind of girl.
Yeah.
And we went to church together for years, and I just was like, Miss Elsie, like, happy birthday. What a big birthday. And I was like, do you feel this, whatever age it was either 70 or 75. And she was like, no, I feel 50.
Oh my goodness. It's like always that way.
So it's always that way.
Never, like our minds cannot comprehend we've lived this many years or whatever. So we met, what year would that have been? 2018?
Probably.
Yes.
Probably because you had just moved.
Yes.
Back, right?
Yes. Well, I moved back in 2015, and then we got married and stuff. But we are really
it was after that.
Yes.
You were it had to be like 2018 because we had a couple of years before. Always, it's before the pandemic, after the pandemic.
Yes.
But we were doing a Beloved women's event.
Yes.
And you came.
Yes.
And I don't even know who you came with.
And it was like summer, I guess, right?
It was summer. Okay. It was Molly's birthday, so it was June 21st.
Yes.
We can remember that.
Yes.
So it was my daughter's birthday. She was turning 8. She's turning 16.
Yes, I cannot.
Next month.
And tell us, let's talk about Beloved. Like, what is Beloved? Because this is how we met. It was Beloved.
Yeah. So I was doing a women's event. I did it for about 7 years.
Yeah.
We did it about 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And it just came from a place I've worked every job.
Yes.
I've worked in every career.
Wedding planner,
marketing,
real estate agent,
sales. I mean, you name it. My kids are like, what haven't you done? And I'm like, waitress.
Yeah. That's the one thing
I have not. Well, I tried for a week, and I'm really clumsy. So I didn't last long as a waitress. I was a really good hostess, but because I like to talk. But so I started Beloved a couple of years before that, and we had grown up going to the Grove in Atlanta.
Both of us.
Passion.
Yes. I lived in Atlanta 4 years.
Yes.
Went to the Grove, loved the Grove.
Louie, loved Shelly, loved everything they were doing.
Yes.
But living in Madison and having children, and it just wasn't conducive time-wise.
No.
We would try to go up. We would, tailgate in the back of my minivan.
Yes.
We went one time with a crock pot of potato soup.
You had to get there hours early for parking.
Early. That's what I'm saying.
Stand in line at the door.
Yeah.
It was a thing. Yes.
So you just couldn't.
And we lived an hour away from Atlanta.
So it just wasn't working.
We couldn't do it every month. No, we couldn't.
No. And it had always been on my heart. I'd been a wedding planner for years, and I loved pretty things. I loved a beautiful event.
Yes.
And being a wedding planner, I put them all on.
Yeah.
But I was in my 30s, my friends were done getting married.
Yes.
And at that point, and you didn't get invited to get and sit in this pretty environment because you always had, just by yourself. You had your kids with you, or, you were entertaining, or you were hosting the birthday parties. And to go to one of the Grove events was just one of the highlights.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, and it was all women, and I loved it. Yeah. And I had gone through a really, really tough time in my life, and I had these women that just poured into me. And I'm kind of skipping over that story to say this, but I was it just kept being impressed on my heart, and different people came into my life. Jill, Krista Rux, that just were I think this is a great idea.
Yeah.
So we started doing these women events. We did about 4 a year, where we would have, Krista was our worship leader, and just is, to me, the best of the best.
Yes.
And then we would have these different ladies come in. And so that one that you came to, I want to say we had been doing it about a year at that point, and we had it that summer, and it was Kim James, Ruth Bearden. They were all telling their different testimonies.
Yes.
And we were in Town Park.
Yes.
And it rained.
Yes.
but we still had 175 women show up with umbrellas.
Yes.
And sat there and listened, and it was beautiful. And you messaged me on Facebook.
Yeah.
I didn't meet you that night.
No.
And you said, hey, I just came back and this is what I've been missing from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I want to get involved.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, you sound great. Let's do it.
Yes.
And you joined us for our very next event. And
yes.
we went from there.
Yes. And it was just, it was so beautiful to me because it did feel like the Grove, like a night where all women. And what I loved about Beloved is it wasn't one church that was doing it. It was women that were from all different churches, all working together, and different churches. Like that was a town park thing, but most of the time it was different churches would host. And then the women that were like from the Presbyterian, the Methodist, the non-denominational churches in town, Baptist churches, all coming together, and it was hosting. So it was like calling all women of the community of Madison, which I just thought was so special.
The funny part to me is you'd have, the very prim and proper, very conservative churches that were not praise and worship. And you and I, are like, I'm like, praise Jesus. We are,
Yes.
And they were like, there's no hymnals. We don't know what to do with our hands.
No.
And, it ranged in age from, early 20s to late 80s.
Yeah.
And our very first one that we did at the Methodist Church, and we had, there again, almost 200 women that first time. And somebody wrote into us and said, I feel like this is what heaven will look like, because it was all ages and it was all women. It was all denominations, but we were all there for one purpose.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, this is what we're doing.
Yes, I loved it. Yes, yes. So we met in like summer of 2018.
Yes.
And then in October of 2018, because I remember it was the day we got Sailor, our puppy. I came home and Trey had picked up this.
I forgot that was the day you got Sailor.
I'm like sitting at this Lisa Turker's women's conference in Athens.
In Athens at the Classic Center.
And Ellie Holcomb was the worship leader. She just
and we
had
met
a baby.
her, remember?
We met her at Epiphany.
Yes.
Boutique.
I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're like, we have a picture with her.
Yep.
But we didn't really know each other well. Like I was serving at the things, but you picked me up from Amelia's in Athens.
You had been working.
I'd been working. It was a Friday night.
Yep.
And we went together and we sat in your van in the back parking lot of Amelia's and just talked.
For hours.
Like didn't get home. Like I think our husbands were like, are y'all okay?
No, Lee, probably Lee went to bed. He texted me and then he just went to bed because Lee is goes to bed super early. But we sat there for hours.
And shared a whole life story.
All life stories.
Yes.
I mean, it just was
and I
from
think
the get-go.
From the get-go, we just felt like this natural closeness, this natural. And from there, we were like, do you remember our like nail dates? We would get together like every 2-3 weeks and get our nails done together.
I still talk about your nails. She has the prettiest fingers, nails. I mean,
you're so sweet. You would always say your nail beds are pretty.
Your nail beds, I didn't want to say. Her nail beds are amazing.
But you know what? I think after I had Mercy, they changed and they aren't like.
No, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. And then you had your pretty ring, and I was just like, oh, to be young and Whitney.
I love you so much. But yes, we did and I remember. So Catherine Wolfe was like such a she was like someone I looked up to so dearly. Like I read both of her books because when we met, I'd miscarried and we'd been waiting to get pregnant. And so we miscarried in September of 2017. And so that summer, it had been a year since we miscarried and we're trying to get pregnant. We're like, okay, we got pregnant super fast on our honeymoon after we got, when we got married, right? Like we honeymooned 2 months after we got married, but we got pregnant then, got home like, oh my gosh, we're pregnant. This is amazing. Miscarried, and then it was like a year later, I'm like, why am I not getting pregnant? And you walked that whole season with me of waiting and asking God and wondering. And in that first year of marriage, which is you met me right then, my husband had lost his job of 22 years, his the greatest divorce of his life. It was and they were his
such
family.
A heartbreak.
It was a heartbreak. And so our first year of marriage was like miscarriage and job loss, and you were a little bit before, you're on the journey before me,
my
right?
husband had lost his job early in our marriage.
Yes.
So I was,
you were like
obviously 11 or 12 years older than you, but I was just in those steps right ahead of you.
And you were being able to talk with me through it and pray with me. And walked with me the whole thing, then getting pregnant with Mercy, praying for
best
Mercy.
Day, best news.
Just you holding her for the first time, it just brought tears.
It literally brings to my eyes. I'll never forget it.
Yes, because I'm like, she is here because of the prayers of so many people. It wasn't just my prayers.
No,
your prayers.
It was all of us of this just combined. And I'll never ever forget when you were speaking
Yes.
at Beloved.
I was speaking, yes,
Yes.
with Lindsay Peaster, Stacy Chapman.
Yep.
We were in a little panel
Yeah.
in the park.
In the park, in the back
behind the
behind.
Baptist church.
Yes.
And I was
You
pregnant.
were pregnant, but nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
And I just sat, I will never forget, I
Yes.
sat there because I knew.
Yes.
Like there was a couple
Yes.
of us that
Yes.
knew, but
Yes.
you hadn't announced it
Right.
yet.
August of
and you were
2019.
talking
Yes.
about your journey. And I just sat there and I was like, people are going to know she's pregnant because I'm beaming so much.
You're like, there's hope at the end of
There's
the story.
hope. There's a baby.
Yeah, there's a baby
and it was
coming.
sweet little Mercy. I mean,
Oh my goodness. And that whole story is just nuts, and a whole nother podcast of itself that we could talk about her name and all the things. And but
sweet girl.
But when I looked up to you so much as like wife, mom of 3 kids, all the things, and I like looked up to you so much like as a friend, but as like you were a little bit ahead of me.
Yeah.
And I could just like look and be like, oh, this is the life I want. These are the AB baby was my baby. I love
He
that.
just turned 11 last week.
And I just loved him. We just had this sweet connection.
Mama Whitney.
I
That's what he called you,
know.
Mama Whitney.
I just loved him just so much. And just like we just got so close so fast. It just felt like natural friendship.
Yeah.
Just like from the get-go. And then we did Beloved together for
Years.
more years.
Yeah.
And walked through things together. And then you deciding to do real estate because you were a wedding planner when I met you. You'd been a teacher before, marketing, sales, all the things. Like, and you're like, I want to go into real estate. And it was
Crazy.
before the boom.
Yeah,
Boom,
I got
boom,
my
boom.
real estate license January 31st, 2020, and
Yes.
the world shut down
Yes.
6 weeks later.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
there were, it was chaos.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But then at the end of that,
craziness.
it went from
Wild.
oh my goodness, nothing to everyone's buying and selling in the market.
I had to learn real quick.
Yes, you were learned trial by fire
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And watching you thrive in that just has been such a beautiful,
you.
and God's faithfulness that you took this step. You believe this is the next thing for me, and to see how God has just blessed your career, blessed your family. Like it has just been and Danielle gives back to this community so much. It's the best thing you do. At Christmas, you just do your 12 days of Christmas, right?
12 days of Christmas.
And just giving back to the community, the schools, people, families, things like just,
It just all goes back to, though, we talked about this. My husband lost his job in the recession.
Yeah.
And, here we were, we both actually lost our job, but his was detrimental to us.
Yes.
And
that was like 2008 recession.
Yeah.
Yes,
So we got married in 2006. The recession started 2008. He lost his job officially. We were half pay in 2009.
Yeah.
And we had one baby and then surprisingly got pregnant with our second.
Yes.
And so when Eli was 2 years old and Molly was 4 months old, he lost his job completely.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what we were going to do. Right. We had to short sell our home.
Yeah.
And here we were, 2 college educated kids.
Yeah.
And we were doing all the right things.
Yes.
We didn't have credit card debt.
Yeah.
We went to work every day.
Yes.
And I lost my job during my maternity leave. They let go of a lot of us during the recession.
Yes.
And I'd always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, so we just made the sacrifices for me to stay at home, for that next year when I had Molly.
Yeah.
But for Lee to lose that job, it rocks a family.
Yes.
And it rocks, I think especially as a man,
Yes.
To be the leader of a household and the provider and to have no control, just like Trey. There was no control.
No.
It wasn't because they did something wrong.
No.
It's devastating.
It's devastating.
And to walk through that. And the people that poured into us during those years is the reason that I give back to the community now because we had so many people that stepped in for us and loved us and paid for our groceries and helped us. And we were able to get right back on our feet, luckily. And not everybody's gives that option.
Right. No.
And, and so it's just it's very dear to my heart of giving back.
I love that.
So
that is
it's
amazing.
just something I love doing it. I'm like, I'd make a great trust fund kid.
Yes.
I feel like I would just be like, you want some? Let's go.
I love it. That is amazing. But it's just so beautiful to see. And so my grandmother lived here in Madison. We moved 4 years ago. We've come back and forth 4 times a year to see her, more than that, almost once a month.
I was going to say, y'all come back a lot.
Way more than that, to just see her and check on her. She's about to be 85 in June. Yeah. And we were just leaving at Christmas this year, it was really hard on her. And she's like, I missed y'all so much. And we just mentioned in passing, you can always move to Savannah, Mamaw. And she was just like, okay, I'll pray about it. And we're like, okay. And she's like, well, if someone knocks on my door and like, tells me that they'll buy my house, that's how I'll know it's God's will. And my brother, who's a pastor, was like, you don't have to wait on that. Like, yes, you can say.
You can do that.
But you can also just put your house on the market. And if it sells, there you go. You can move to Savannah. And so it was like, she was thinking about it and praying about it December, whatever. And then in February, she said, I think I want to do it. I want to put my house on the market and I want to move to Savannah. And I said, okay, I know a girl. I was like, Danielle.
Love me some Mama. I'm so mad that I never really met her before. Because I only got 6 weeks with her.
Yes.
And it was the best 6 weeks.
2 peas in a pod.
Our listing appointment, I sat in her house. And I think I texted you and I said, she's praying with me and I'm crying in her kitchen because this is my Meemaw.
Yes.
Your Meemaw was my Meemaw, who I lost 4 years ago.
Yes.
And she sent me out the door with pepper jelly.
Apple butter. Which is her, if that's how you know she loves you. She's sending you apple butter and pepper jelly. Yes.
So.
And then the craziest thing is we came up in February and we were like, we're going to declutter the house. We're going to make it look presentable for pictures. Yes. Like, because, older people, they just love stuff.
They love their stuff. She had all her pictures of the grandkids.
Vitamins and creams and things everywhere. And we're like, Mama, well, let's just stage it to sell well, to make good pictures.
Just get pictures.
Yeah, so we boxed up a lot of stuff and I sent you pictures. I was like, it's ready to go. Photographer was going to come on Wednesday.
Y'all knocked it out in a weekend.
We knocked it out in a weekend thanks to some girlfriends. Thank you, Lord, for the girlfriends that just show up for me in my life that are like, what do you need? Larkin and Megan and Molly.
I was like, they all show up.
They all showed up. And I texted you pictures on Sunday when we were leaving. I'm like, it's ready for pictures. Pictures are coming on Wednesday. On Monday, you were in a closing. You were telling another real estate agent, I got this house, blah, blah. And she's like, I want to go look at it today.
Can I look at it
today?
Can I go
look at it today? And you're like, yeah, like we haven't even, like, there's been
it's
no
not
pictures.
Out, but like, hold on.
And they went and looked at it and they were like, full price
offer.
Cash offer. Close in 2 weeks.
Close in 2 weeks.
And it was like 16 days. And I was like, Mamaw, is that your sign? Is that enough for God?
I mean, I called Mamaw and I was like, are you ready?
Are you ready for this?
I mean, I think I actually called you first.
Yes.
And it was like, can y'all be ready? Can we do this before I get her excited?
And we had already had a townhouse in our neighborhood, not even a mile down the road in our neighborhood, because we're like, we don't want to move her to Savannah, be 20 minutes away. She has to be in our neighborhood. Yeah. And there was a townhouse that was precious, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. She wanted 1 story. She wanted a walk-in shower. She wanted a walk-in.
There were so many things that had to be done.
And it's brand new, which she wanted when she moved to Madison. Everything. She didn't get. Which her whole story of moving to Madison is crazy because she bought the house she built in the 60s as a single woman. She bought it back from my uncle that bought it from her in the 90s. Like, insane. And then to sell it. And then it was like, she's like, I don't want to have to pay. I'm not going to have a mortgage. I want to be able. And the amount.
Every amount of money added up.
What she sold it for and what she bought the house for and the moving cost and everything, she came out clean cash.
Which is so
insane.
It's like, it doesn't happen always like that.
It doesn't happen.
I wish it did. I would be a millionaire.
Yes, if it happened like that.
Yes, it just doesn't happen like that. I mean, we have a closing today and up until clear to close, everything, you're just like, is it going to close?
Yes.
Is it? Yes. And hers just went flawlessly.
Yes.
But that's that power of prayer and that legacy of faith and relationship. And it just was like the sweetest.
Yes. And God just being faithful.
Oh, yeah.
Like her saying, I miss y'all. This is hard for me every time you leave. I wish I was closer. I wish I was in Mercy's daily life, And we literally see her every single day.
I love that.
She eats dinner with us every single night because she is 8.85 tenths of a mile from us, like literally not even a mile.
There's nothing like it.
Yes. And
I didn't grow up with grandparents that lived near me.
Yeah.
And I was close with both of my grandmothers and, and my grandfather. But they lived within 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah. So, I was, when I was little, it was you were waiting for either them to come or your parents to take you.
Yes.
And then when I'm 16, I'm not driving all the time to go see.
No.
So that was one of the things of being in this small town and seeing different grandparents, how they interacted and how they could see their grandkids' lives was one of the reasons I pushed my parents. I was like, please come see this. And now that I have we're walking into senior year and junior year and middle school this year, which is wild to me.
It's so nuts. It's so nuts.
But my kids get to see their grandparents.
Yes.
Daily. 2 sets of them because we have 2 sets of the 3.
Yes.
Because my husband's parents are divorced. they see them regularly. We're in church with 2 sets of them every week. And that's just, it transforms.
There's something.
Yeah. So for Mercy, what a sweet, sweet time.
And Mama lived in Arkansas my whole life. So she would come to town for everything. I mean, she made it. I mean, we never went to Arkansas. She came to see us all the time. She hit those roads. 10 hours from Arkansas here all the time. But there was something about, like you said, being in the day. And I grew up with my dad's parents right beside me. So I grew up with that relationship. Yeah. There's just something so special about them being in your life, and Mercy having Mamaw in her life. It's
like the neatest thing. Sweet. I love it. Yes. I love it. I'm so happy for y'all.
Oh my goodness. I'm just so grateful that that part of the story with you. Oh, just so sweet. Okay. So the last thing I know you have a closing that you have to get to.
We're totally fine. Okay. We've got like 20 minutes.
Yes. Okay, good. We're good. So the last thing I want to talk about, because when anyone looks at you, when all of us, everyone knows you, anyone who knows you, they see this highly functioning, highly capable. I mean, you are independent, go-getter, just super successful, amazing at relationships, at like everything you do. It's like you can be the PTO president, Mom. You could be like, you are the person that people are like, I mean, gosh, she just goes and gets things done. And is at everything, and your kids are involved in the things at church, at school, but like there's something that like has been like a thorn in your side that we could say. Yeah. Your whole, like most of your life.
Since I was 16.
Since you're 16. And that's been anxiety. Yeah. Anxiety has been a big part of your life. Yes. And I've been able to walk that through. You have taught me so much as I've prepared to go in the clinical world of being a therapist about anxiety.
Not crazy has helped you, which is always good. I love it. It's not crazy, but it is.
I remember giving you a book one time that was Breath as Prayer, and it was about anxiety and praying through the anxiety. And we all have anxiety in this world in a way, right? But there's a difference in having anxiety, of like struggling with anxiety here and there, and then having an anxiety disorder that is a part of your daily life, right? And I think that people, that to me before I even clinically knew that.
Well, because I think that, people, they're like, oh yeah, I worry about that, or oh, I'm anxious. And we all have that. Yes. I mean, I have that of, even though I'm an extrovert, even though I love to talk to people, you could put me in front of 100 people right now and I'm like, sure, I'll go talk. Yeah. There's still a level of anxiety that comes with that. And I think that is a normal, healthy anxiety that we all have. I mean, it's we need to have anxiety to make good decisions and to keep ourselves out of danger and things like that. Yes. But when I was 16 years old, it started when I was 16, but I wasn't really clinically diagnosed until I was 18 or 19. But I mean, I have an anxiety and panic disorder. Yeah. So, when people will generalize that, and they don't even mean to, they just don't know. And they're like, oh yeah, I have anxiety too.
Yeah. And like, no, baby girl, this is not the same. This is not.
And it's not that, hey, I'm worse than you or anything of that sort.
But it's just that it is not just I worry about this or I'm anxious today. No. That is not the case. And I now specialize in working with people with OCD, which I love. Like,
do you?
Oh, it is my population.
Well, good, I'll start calling you.
Yes, it is my, and I see a little bit of it in Mercy, which I'm like, of course I do, because this is what I specialize in, and God just does that. Of course. He like made me to be her mom, and also to humble me, and as a parent, because being a parent of a child with OCD or living with someone with OCD,
very difficult.
It's very difficult. And I talk to the parents, and I'm like, I know it's so hard for you to not want to just fix it for them and reassure them all the time. And
it's also frustrating. I mean, like at 49, I've had this for 33 years now. And I know that God could heal me.
Yes.
Like and he absolutely, and there's been moments in my life where I have literally begged him, would have done anything for him to take this from me, because it is not how I would want anyone to live. It is not, this isn't, like you said, just I'm a little anxious today, or, oh, I'm anxious with my kids leaving, or, it is an all-consuming. I was with my therapist on Wednesday, and I told her, I said, it's just so wild to me that even in a season, because I have good seasons and I have bad seasons.
Yes, right.
I'm in a better season right now, but I still go to therapy.
Yes.
And
so important.
It is. I feel like everyone should go to therapy.
Yes, me too.
It's the best thing ever.
Yes. And not because I'm a therapist, because I went to therapy before I ever became a therapist. Yeah. And saw the benefit of it and go, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This we all have something to process.
Oh my gosh.
We've all been through heartache.
Yes.
We live in a broken world with broken people. We are them too.
Yeah.
We need a safe place to go and let it all out. And let someone who is unbiased, doesn't know us, doesn't know our family, doesn't know the other person we're talking about or whatever, our husband, whatever, just give us some, especially a Christian therapist or someone who
can pray
has
with
the
you
same
and can
values.
like the same values. It really does.
It's like a North Star.
It really is. It's like you've got someone tangible.
Yeah.
Especially if they're a Christian counselor.
Yes.
That you've got that person that's in your corner that's praying for you and believes that God could heal you. Yes. And the fact that you're still dealing with parts of it doesn't mean that God's forgotten about you. But that God's using you for something greater.
Yes.
And I think that, going back to, my dad was a DeKalb County fireman, so in the city of Atlanta.
Yeah.
He saw a lot.
Yes.
I mean, my dad saw a lot of
can
stuff.
only imagine.
And so the first time I had my first panic attack, September of 1992.
No, you're not. Whenever I see the kids in college, I see that their birthdays are 2003. I'm like, I'm old.
So wild.
I'm old.
But anyway, and so like that one was bad, but I didn't know what was going on. And then they were pretty bad for those first couple of months because I went from being pretty fine to just dramatically, and we know why. There was trauma that was involved in that.
Yes.
And then too, no one talked about it in the 90s. So like my dad, when he saw me, and my dad was very gruff, he was very, learning through therapy, my dad was very activated with his nervous system because of what he did for a living.
He had to be hypervigilant.
He had to be. Yes. And he didn't know how to do that
How to turn it
at
off.
home, turn it off.
Yes.
And so my dad is the sweetest grandfather and like the sweetest dad to me now that he wasn't able to be when I was a kid.
Exactly.
He was a great provider. I mean, my dad loved me,
Yes.
but there was an emotional just
Disconnect.
absence and disconnect in
Yeah.
that. And my dad, I was having a really bad panic attack. And, here I am, I'm 16 years old. And I was like laying in my bed. And my mom went to go get me, both of my parents were there with me. And my mom went to go get me something. And my dad leaned over and he just looked at me and he said, just tell me what you took.
Yeah.
And I was like, and when you're in a panic attack, I finally had someone tell me, a therapist years later, that when you're having a true panic attack, the amount of adrenaline that's going through your body is the amount of adrenaline as if you were stuck in a burning house and couldn't get out.
Yes.
So when people are like,
yes.
you need to recite a Bible verse.
Or just
I'm like,
breathe.
I can't remember my name.
No,
I can't, in those moments of a panic attack, there is no rational thought in my body.
There's not.
And I can look at it on the outside and, the next day or an hour later and completely make sense of it. In that moment. So when he asked me that, I was like, what do you mean? What did I take?
Right.
And he thought I was
on drugs.
Yes. He thought I was having
how you were
like tripping or and I was like, I've never smoked a cigarette. Like I haven't done anything. I was the ultimate like good girl in this moment.
Yes.
I was like, what? They didn't know.
No, they had no idea. No idea.
And they sent me to a therapist. They did the best that they could.
Of course.
They sent me to a therapist who was this man that literally just wanted to talk to me.
Yeah.
But nothing came of that. And it wasn't until I was a sophomore in college. So that was my junior year in high school.
Yeah.
So my sophomore year in college, I was living at the sorority house in Milledgeville, went to Georgia College. And my mom called me and she said, turn on Dateline right now. This is what you have.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, what do you mean?
Yes.
This is what I have.
Yes.
She's like, turn it on. This is what you have.
Yes.
And that's when we were able to go. I went to Atlanta and went through a bunch of testing and, meeting with people. And that's when I was clinically diagnosed with a panic disorder, OCD, and generalized anxiety disorder. And I was like,
yes.
So I'm not crazy.
No, you're not crazy. No,
like,
no, you're not. You're not.
So
yeah,
it's a wild.
It's been a journey, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's been times where I and not in a bragging way, but I am an extrovert. I am the person that I love to connect people.
Yeah.
I love relationships.
Yeah.
I love to be a friend. I love to be involved, and I'm a high performer at work.
Yeah.
But I also am masking and hiding. I'm very high functioning.
Yes.
But then I crash.
Yeah.
And, sometimes that crash may look like a weekend of 48 hours where I can't talk to anyone and nothing gets done at my house, or I'm, I kind of goes, and you'll know this term of like, I go from flight or fight.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Fight or flight. Yep.
To freeze.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I'll be stuck in freeze.
Yes.
And, I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And those are kind of what I fluctuate now the most in. But there's been periods of my life where I couldn't leave my house for 6 weeks.
Yes.
I couldn't go to work for 6 weeks.
Yes.
I couldn't parent my kids.
Yes. Yeah.
And those are, I would lose weight. I would be up all night. I would have 3 to 5 panic attacks a day.
Yeah.
I was on medication. I was in therapy. I mean, so when I share that with people, they're just like,
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's never come across where I've told somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I can totally see that.
Never. Not ever. No.
They're usually, what?
Right.
And then they think I'm joking. They think or they downplay it and they think, oh yeah, I get anxious too. And I'm like, no. I hide it really well.
Yeah.
And I only let the people that I can fully trust. I mean, I have best friends that I do day-to-day life with right now.
Yeah.
That have never seen me in a panic attack.
Yeah.
That have never seen me in a state
that
I've been in before.
Yeah.
And they, I think, would absolutely be shocked
to
know, they are like, oh yeah, Danielle talks about this because I'm open with it.
Yeah.
But I don't let people in to see that.
Yeah.
It's hard because it is not who I want to be.
Right.
But it's the burden or the thing
that
God's given me.
Yeah.
And I've used it, with my small group. I'm a small group leader now. I don't do Beloved right now because God's called me to work with these teenage girls, and I'm like, I don't even know why.
It makes me so happy.
It is the sweetest moment of my. I've done it for almost 2 years now, and I love them.
I know you
I
do.
just love them. We meet at this house, which is wild. This house is just like but so many of them struggle with anxiety.
Yeah.
And I've got a child right now that we have just walked through 2 years of just extreme anxiety for him.
Yeah.
And it has just about broken me as a mom because I don't want that for this child. And I don't want that for anyone, but much less one of my babies. I don't want it. I do not want this lifestyle.
I know.
But it also has helped me understand and be able to get the help that they needed in anything in that situation. So I still hope that maybe, one day God will heal me from it. But right now, that.
Well, I was listening. Have you heard of the Sing initiative, the morning Devo? Okay.
Yep. I heard about it. We did a women's retreat in February with my church.
Yeah.
And 2 of the girls told me about it.
Yes.
And I was like, what?
Mercy and I listened to it.
It's the neatest thing.
It's the best. We listen to it every single morning on the way to school.
Those moments.
I know. That's what my brother keeps telling me. He's like, these are good moments.
These are good. Yeah.
And so we listen to the morning devotion. It's like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's not long.
Not long at all. And they talked, one was all about OCD. This guy, a pastor who kind of comes on and talks. He's such a good voice. He talks about his wife is diagnosed OCD from a child. And he said Paul says that he had a thorn in his side that he said that he asked God 3 times to take away.
Right.
And it said, is this a messenger from Satan that's come to torment me?
Right.
Or is this from you to keep me humble? And he said, yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. That the God will take the thing that comes from evil to torment us, to keep us humble, but also to make us look like Jesus and to help others who come after us. And I'm like, everything we go through, I really believe that God uses for our good and his glory. Because Danielle, think about your life if you didn't have this thorn in your side and you are an extrovert and you're a high achiever.
I would probably be a mess.
I
would be like, look at me.
Right. Like, why?
People probably still think that about me because I'm extroverted,
but you wouldn't have any humility of you'd be like, pick yourself from your bootstraps. You can do this. Like, you wouldn't have there's some
the empathy and the compassion and
that we can't save ourselves from.
No.
That you would not need Jesus. Right? There are things in our life that remind us of especially because we live in America in comfort and we love comfort and we have food on our tables every day and we have air-conditioned homes. We have to be reminded of our need of Jesus in America.
Absolutely.
Right? And this, we all have a thorn in our side. None of us have it all together.
Nobody.
None of us have perfect families.
Yeah.
None of us have perfect, we live in a broken world. and we're broken people in this broken world because of sin that entered the world. And our thorns in our side, which we hate and we ask God to take, he uses for our good and his glory, even when it's like, I wish that this wasn't what you used.
And I think that you can balance between that same, thing in your day-to-day life of wishing so badly that wasn't your story, but then at the same time being grateful that you can help someone and living in that same space and knowing that God's got me and he's going to provide for me and he's with me. But then also at the same time still begging him, please take this from me. I don't want this to be my everyday. I don't want to live. I told my therapist on Wednesday, I said, I am in a good season right now. And that doesn't mean that I don't struggle with panic attacks. I don't have them as often, but I still struggle every single day with OCD and with anxiety. And I said, it still shocks me sometimes because it's just so much of the message in my head that, I can walk into a room and I immediately, I'm not thinking about it, I'm not upset, nothing has happened. And those thoughts are just there and they're on repeat and I can't make them stop. And it's so much of an everyday life for me that I wish that wasn't it.
I know.
I wish that I could be the person that did not have this. But at the same time, God must really want me to do that. And so I'm like, okay. And I think as I've gotten older and I've deepened my faith and I've walked with people like you and shared my story and watched you walk through periods of life that are different than mine. And to know, okay, there's still purpose in having this big thorn. There's still purpose and value and goodness and grace and
mercy.
Joy and love and mercy. All of it can be in this horrible place when you feel like, with me, you feel embarrassed and so alone. I mean, the last panic attack I had was just 2 months ago, and I was getting headshots taken with a photographer and a new employee. No one that I was comfortable with saying, hey, I'm freaking out right now.
Yes, for sure.
They were all of a sudden just looked at me and they were like, are you okay? And I was like, nope, it was just, it was coming. I couldn't stop it. And the vulnerability of that and it's not something I would want anyone to go through, but at the same time, and these sweet girls, they immediately stopped what they were doing and started praying over me, like laying hands on me, praying, and I was like,
I love it. I love it.
God, and it strengthened the three of us. Something mighty and powerful happened in that moment. Even though it was not a good moment for me, something powerful happened in that moment with the three of us.
And I think that's what God reminds us, like, this is bigger than you, right? This is what I'm using for, like, the kingdom, like, for lives to be changed. The girls that you are leading in this small group that are suffering with anxiety, someone else could not actually understand and be with them and see them and hear them like you do, right?
That it is going to be used for his glory. That there is a reason that I carry this. And I'm not the only one. I'm not alone, and the others are not alone. And so if I can share that with other women especially, to know that it's okay.
And it's not in vain. It's not just a hard thing that I deal with. It's not just, but God can use it for good, for me. Also,
for me,
because sometimes I look at my life, sometimes I'm sitting in a therapy room sharing the gospel with a client that, like, is a Christian, because I can only share it with people who are Christians and want it, right? And I'm sharing it with them, and there's this overwhelming sense of, like, thank you, God, for this. Like, thank you, God, that I'm sitting in this room, not just as a therapist, but everything I've walked through that connects me with this person, that I can sit here and tell them truth, because I've been through some stuff, right? I feel like I've been through, like, all the things that people, like, okay, job loss, okay, miscarriage, okay, addiction, okay, abandonment, neglect. I'm like, I can reach a lot of people through my story.
But if none of the things that do that, and we all share our stories, and we all learn, especially as women, to say, hey, me too.
Me too.
Or, hey, I know where you're coming from, and you're not alone. And forget the Instagram, perfect life thing. And the perfect picture. I posted a picture a couple of years ago, and I was very vulnerable, because I normally, like, if you talk to me, I'm going to tell you I have anxiety. If you were to ask, I'll tell you my life history of whatever.
Open book.
But I mean, there's still a level of, I run a business, and I don't normally put all of that on Instagram or anything of that sort. And I was at the Georgia State Fair down in Perry with my kids, and I posted a picture of me and my boys. It was like a picture of I think all 3 kids are in the picture, and I'm just like smiling.
Yeah.
Sweet picture.
Yeah.
You would think, oh my God, they're at the fair. They're having the best time.
Yeah.
And I just said, I was like, no one would know in this moment that we were on the, whatever that thing is, the sky.
Yes.
Whatever it is that floats above the.
Yes.
Was not a good thing for me.
Yeah.
I'd ridden it before, no problem.
Yeah.
And I was in the bucket with Eli on one side and Abe on one side. And Abe must have been like 5. So Eli was probably, 11, 12.
Yeah.
And I had a literal full-blown, like 0 to 100 panic attack.
Yes.
Lee is behind me with Molly.
Yeah.
Like nobody can get to you because I'm traveling.
In the air. With your kids.
And all that's around me is a little bar. And I am like, when you were in that fight or flight, I am like, get me out. Get me outside.
It's like you're like this. You're hyperventilating.
Yes. I am like, get me out of here.
Yes.
Your first instinct is to run or bolt or go. And you have so much there again, all that adrenaline.
Yes.
I can't go anywhere.
No.
Because I'm above.
Yes.
I would die.
Yes.
And I literally remember sitting there and I had this bar around me and I was like holding myself back. Not in the sense of like, I wanted to end my life or I wanted to hurt. I was so afraid that my body was going to bolt.
Yes.
And there was nothing really to hold me in. Because I'm a grown woman of like full force.
Yes.
And I've got these 2 babies sitting beside me.
Yeah.
Not wanting to scare them, but completely out of my mind.
Yes.
And it was the longest, 6 minutes.
Yes, for sure.
It felt like eternity to me
I'm sure.
to just, get. And as soon as they got me down, I literally like slid out. I laid on the ground.
Yes.
I mean, Lee Copeland was mortified.
Yeah. Yes.
Mortified. He was like, "What is wrong with you?"
You're like, if
Thank
you
God
only
one
knew.
of my good friends was with us too, and she was like, "I got her."
Yeah, it's like go with the kids.
Lee's
go.
just, Lee's like,
He's
they're
a man.
He's just
I don't
like,
know what to do with this.
I don't know what to do with this.
Oh man.
That picture had been taken 3 minutes before all this had happened.
Oh yeah.
And we were sitting on the bucket. So it was, because it was just me and the boys.
Yeah.
And I took it right before we started.
Yeah.
And I posted that picture and I was like, you would never know from this picture that this is what was going on.
Yeah.
And the battle, that 6-minute battle, which doesn't seem like a long time, but in that moment when all you can think is, I don't want to die and I've got to protect them, but everything in me is telling me to run and to get out, and I don't have control over my body parts right now.
Yes.
So many people DM'd me. So many people reached out and they were like, I just would never see that in you. You just seem like you're confident. And I'm just like, look, that is, yes, I can be confident and broken at the same time.
Yes.
Like
all
I can be
yes.
extrovert and lay in a fetal position and can't leave my house.
Yes.
I'm that same person.
Yes. We're
And
not
God,
one-dimensional people. We're not.
But that's where I really need Jesus.
Yes. Yes. And our need for him is so apparent. It is actually like a mercy that we remember we need him. It's a mercy of God.
Yes.
That we need him.
Yeah.
That to remind us, like, I can't do this alone. I'm not capable of living this life in my own strength.
No.
It's actually when I am weak that I am strong, the Bible says, right?
Right.
And I just always love to picture the aerial view of God of our lives, like that God is like this, like he's in heaven looking
And sometimes
down.
he chuckles and he's like, get with it. I've got this planned out. Take the next step.
Like you're right here. You're in this
You're
season.
right here.
You're right here. Like I've known you from knitting in your mother's womb to here, right? To heaven, right? In eternity, right? But you're in this season, all you see is right here. All you see is this season I'm in, whatever circumstance and season you're in. That's hard.
Right. Well, and that's our flesh.
Yes,
is that,
right.
We only focus on, I talk about this with my teenage girls because everything is so big to them.
Right now.
And
yes,
as it should
is.
be.
Right. You're in high school.
It's high
huge.
school.
Yes.
Everything's big. Every decision's big. Every moment's big. And I'm like, oh, this is a blip.
Yes.
This is such a small
blip.
blip.
If you were God, if you had the aerial view of your life and he's like, you're going to get through this. I've got so much good. I have so many
much
plans
good
for your life. I have so much purpose for your life. And I can
Just
use
trust me.
the hardest thing. I can use the abandonment and the neglect and the addiction and the job loss and the infertility and the anxiety. I can use that not only for my glory, right? To show that I am with you and all that, but for your good and for the good of those around you.
Well, and I think that too, as women, I always heard people, I tried to rationalize where this came from.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And, we through a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
And I did trauma recovery therapy. It was Christian-based,
Yes.
TRT therapy, and it was
love it.
amazing.
Yes.
Teresa, my therapist, in my early 30s, just literally for 8 years, walked us through some really amazing. I owe my life to her.
Wow.
I was able to get through and to be able to have my babies and because I was like, I'm never going to be able to have children. I can't handle this. I can't do it.
Sickness and things
all
like
of
that.
it. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to do this. And you always hear, oh, well, I had to think, like, I had 2 parents at home. My parents had never gotten divorced.
Yeah.
I didn't have like an immediate death of either one of my parents or a sibling.
Yeah.
And so I tried to always overcome, well, nothing like
bad has happened.
horrible.
Yeah.
Like I'd had some trauma.
Yes.
That was not good.
No. Right.
But
You're
I
rationalizing.
I was trying to rationalize it. And Teresa looked at me and she said, Danielle, trauma is different on all different levels for everyone.
Yes.
And trauma can be when something in your mind, when you think this should be happening and this is right, when it's not happening. Not you get in trouble because you ran past your curfew and you're 16.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That can create trauma in your life. It doesn't have to, when something doesn't happen, like, or something bad happens, there's levels of trauma, but there's still trauma. And in my mind, I was like, well, thinking like, someone didn't try to like murder me or I didn't lose. I remember being young and just being like, I don't understand, like something really big didn't happen.
Right.
But I had these very significant, now that I've gone to love therapy, things that happened over the course of like 5 months.
Yes.
That my body at 16 years old just shut down.
And a lot of times it's like a lot of things that we can't control.
And all of mine was out of
your
control.
Yeah.
All of it.
And so what your body tries to do is, I need to have control, because when I have control, then I'm safe.
Yeah.
But we don't
So
have
that's
control
where
of a lot of things. Yeah.
I'm working on touch therapy right now. I started it this Wednesday with my therapist, and because I stayed like
Yes.
I'm a high performer.
Yes.
I'm going to succeed, and I'm going to be a top producer, and I'm going to be rookie of the year, and I'm going to be this, and all these things. But I'm constantly
like this. Yes.
I'm constantly like that. And so I've got to reset that nervous system and all that. And so that's where you just, through a lot of therapy of looking at it and praying and walking with God and knowing that He is with me and He will protect me and He's there no matter if the bad happens.
Yes, I can't protect myself from every bad thing that could possibly happen. I can't be hypervigilant to this world that we live in.
And so many therapists in the beginning told me, because they cared about me and I thought they loved me, they were like, but you're okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
This isn't going to happen to you. This doesn't ever happen to you.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Well, my therapist now, do you know what she tells me?
What?
It might.
It might happen. That is exposure therapy, girlfriend. 101.
Literally.
And what if it does happen?
I mean, the first time it happened, the first time she looked at me and she said, I can't tell you that it's not going to happen. I looked at her and I was like,
What?
Yeah. And I've been with her for almost 4 years.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm sorry.
That's not what you're
tell
supposed
me,
to say.
like, you're supposed to be my therapist. You're supposed to make everything better and tell me everything's okay. She's like, no, I'm not, because that's creating false hope.
Yes.
And we're not doing that.
No.
And you're going to be okay. And I was like, and she's like,
even if the worst, yes.
So that's how I've been able to parent my child through this.
I love it.
Of saying, even though, it kills me, but I'm like, I'm right here with you.
Yeah.
If this thing happens.
Yes.
God's right here with you. If or when this thing happens.
And that is the gospel. He says, in this life, you will have trouble.
You will have trouble.
You will. He's never said an easy life. When you become a Christian, it's not like, and now your life is easy. No. He never said it. He said, actually, you will have trouble, but I've overcome the world. I am with you. I remember just distinctly sitting in my bedroom after I'd miscarried, like right after the DNC and all of it.
Yeah.
And a hurricane came through that same weekend. I'm like, you know how the weather just matches like the crazy things? Like we had no power. It was hot. It was September. I am depressed. I've just like.
Is that when we all lost the power for like days?
In like 2018,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like a big
we
whatever,
lost power
Irma
for 4
or
days.
something came through, or Michael or something or whatever.
The house across the street from here, from Jill's.
Yes.
Came on these power lines and we were out of power for 4 days. I remember this.
And I'm sitting in the dark in my house, sad, like I've just like lost a baby, you know, and I never thought that would happen to me. My mom was like you, 4 kids, boom, 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 like easy peasy, like, you know, I was like, and I got pregnant really easy and then miscarried. And I remember sitting there, but I remember being so sad, but I remember feeling so close to God. Like I'd never felt like, I feel like the veil, they say that is removed.
It's removed.
And you feel so close to God.
It's like, he's so tangible. Like
he's with you.
You feel that peace. And that's when they say that peace that passes all understanding. And I look at non-believers and I'm like, how do you walk through?
How do you get through
a death of a child or a husband or a divorce or a miscarriage or trauma and not have him? I don't.
No, because I felt like God does not promise us ease. He does not promise us a life without trouble, but he promises he's going to be with us. And that's what we want more than ease and comfort. Actually, we want a God that is with. And that's what the same thing when you're seeing someone going through anxiety and like, I can't take it away, which is not actually what you want. You want to know that you're not alone.
I literally tell people this all the time.
Yes.
Because when you see, if you were to walk in and look at me having a panic attack, I'm hyperventilating, I'm shaking, I'm crying, I'm like what crazy, you know, the whole thing.
Yes.
I don't want you to touch me. I don't want you to hold me.
No.
I don't want to be restrained.
No.
I don't want you to, you know, ignore me.
Yeah.
I literally tell people, I want you to look me in the eyes and I want you to say, I'm right here and I'm right here with you.
Yes. That's it.
That's
what you need. You need someone who's with you.
That's with you.
And that is what Jesus is. Right. He is our Savior that's with us in the hills and the valleys. Right. He is with us. He is Emmanuel who put on flesh. He left heaven, put on flesh, and came to be with us.
That's what when people, and I'll kind of end it on that of like, when I'm in those moments and you know, yes, I've memorized scripture and yes, I've prayed in those moments where you're just like, I can't utter a word but Jesus.
Yes.
And if somebody could peek in my house when I'm in those moments, I am literally walking in my house, convulsing, like shaking. I always want to be cold, so I have ice packs.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yes.
People, you'll know real quick if I always carry them with me. It's like those reusable ones, or, you know, and I'm like, Jesus, 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 Jesus. Because I can't formulate a word. I can't formulate anything more or thought more than just Jesus. Yes. And really, that's all I need to say in that moment because I've built the relationship with him that just calling on him in that moment is so beneficial to me. So I urge people, I'm just like, you know, don't forget, he's there.
He's there. And therapy and Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Now, therapy and Jesus. And sometimes I've had to, you know, there's been medication. And
medication. Oh, yes.
That's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother thing. And yes.
But like, God designed and just
like medicine for diabetes and heart disease.
Right.
No one's going to be like, well, I've had blood pressure, but I don't think I need it. No, you're going to take the medicine.
Right.
Diabetes, you're going to take the insulin.
You get cancer, you're going to go and get treatment.
When you have this anxiety that you are fighting this uphill battle, and there's something that can bring it, I tell all my clients, you are fighting this mountain. You are doing all this work where this medicine is not, it doesn't fix it.
What it does, it brings all of it
down.
Together.
Yes, that the coping skills you can actually learn.
You can create and learn coping skills.
Down here, not up here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen because I've always been like, I'm not going to take an Advil when I have a headache. You know, I've been that person. I've seen in therapy how medicine helps someone so much. So what we're doing in this room, we need a helper. We need medicine.
We need, you know, the medication for me, and I know at this stage of my life, I know when I need it. And there's been periods of my life that I've been on medications for a year or two. I'm not currently on a daily medication. But I know, and I know when I need therapy.
Yes.
Through seasons. And that's just trial and error and dealing with it for, you know, 3 decades now. But it quiets the noise.
It does.
It allows me to to do the work, to be able to remember the coping skills,
Yes.
I just don't understand when people are so against that or even so against therapy. They are like, oh, nope, I don't want to talk about it. I want to deal with it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because you have to get through it. You can't, there's no avoiding anything.
Well, avoiding is just going to make it worse. And that's when,
worse.
God talks about, keeping things in the dark and keeping things in secret. That's the enemy.
That's when they grow. Oh, the enemy.
That is.
He wants to shame and condemn.
He wants me to be in the fetal position on the ground saying, you're crazy, you're alone, you're no good. People think you're this, but you're actually this. That's the enemy.
Yeah, that's the enemy.
That's
That's condemnation right there.
Right.
No, you cannot be used. You are broken.
You can't be used. No one's going to listen to you. You're, in my mind, you're crazy is always what, is a trigger for me of like, because I've been told that.
Yes, yeah. But Jesus says you're chosen and loved and forgiven and redeemed and all the things he tells us. I think he tells us individually about ourselves. Like he made you an extrovert. He made you confident and capable and high achieving. He made you that way, right?
That's who I am.
That is who you are.
And if I have a couple of days where I have to crash and I'm like, done, cannot, like nothing else.
Because you're a human, you're not a robot, and you're not a machine, right? We're humans. And I'm just so thankful that you're here to show that it doesn't look, anxiety is not a one size fits all. It doesn't, it affects us all in different ways, and it affects us all that have like an anxiety disorder, a panic disorder, OCD. Like you can be the most high functioning, capable person. And this is the thorn in your side. Whatever that thorn is, we all have a thorn. Worry is mine. Yeah. Worry, not in an anxiety way, but of worry of worst case scenarios where, it is anxiety, but it is, I am a worrier by nature, but I'm born that way.
And that's the funny thing. I suffer with severe anxiety and I'm not a worrier.
Right. Isn't that a funny thing?
And people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't worry about like my kids getting sick or a car accident or like.
No, that's
that never crosses my mind.
No.
But people are like, but I don't understand. I'm like, everybody's looks different, is built different, and you have different things.
Yes. Yes. But what it does is and what it can do and what it should do is just bring us back to Jesus. It brings us back to Jesus.
Where you run closer to him?
Yes.
And you've got the partner with him?
Yes.
I love that you're doing this.
Oh my gosh, I love you. Thank you.
I'm like, can we just go away for a weekend and
just do this the whole weekend?
Do this the whole weekend.
Yes. Thank you. I love you so much.
Me.
Thank you for just being you, truly, and being an open book and letting God use your story.
I feel like that is the reason he gave it is, so that somebody else doesn't feel like that. I wish I would have had that in that moment years ago and could see somebody that was successful, that was a mom, somebody that had friends, and
have the hope
that like, hey, I can get there.
I can get there.
Even though I'm in this really bad season, I can get there.
Yes. If God can do it for her, he can do it for me, Yeah. I think that's what story teaches us. Like, I'm hopeless right now, but I have hope because this story, this girl, that what God's done in her life, that's how I'm here today is stories. Just people's stories
are so in relationship. And that's what I teach my girls. I'm like, what you get with your girlfriends and your mom or whoever that you share these stories with and your relationships with, that's what I want y'all building with your Savior, like with your Father who calls you his beloved and like he loves you and he wants that so much for you.
Yes.
So
I love it.
I love that you're doing this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. If Danielle's story encouraged you, would you do us a favor? Share this episode with someone who may be quietly fighting a battle no one else can see. You never know how God might use a simple text message or conversation to remind someone they're not alone. And if you're walking through anxiety, OCD, depression, grief, or any other difficult season, I want you to hear this. Your struggle does not define you. Your diagnosis is not your identity. Your story isn't over. God is still writing it, and his mercy is still meeting you right where you are. Until next time, keep looking for his mercy. It has a way of showing up in the places we least expect. We'll see you next time on Lord Have Mercy.